Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Spiritual Journey podcast. My name is Nimesh Radia, and I'm your host. I always love starting every episode by saying thank you. I feel so very blessed with this podcast, the people it's reaching, the impact it's having. When I started, it was a passion project. My objective really was to simplify spirituality. I was guided to start the podcast by a message through the Akashic Records, saying my voice is my gift. I named it after my mentor, my friend who's no longer with us, Sidra Jeffrey, has her initials, Spiritual Journey, Sidra Jeffrey. So I feel like she's guiding it in her own beautiful, unique way. If you've regular listener, welcome. Thank you for supporting the podcast. If this is your first episode, welcome. Thank you for joining. I am an Akashic record reader, Akashic trainer, podcast host, podcast creator, as well as a spiritual coach and mentor. I get to guide people along their spiritual journey, hold their space while going through a shift, going through some kind of awakening, truly guide people to become themselves, to shine their light. I feel like we're in a phase where the planet is going through such a shift, and I get to guide people on their journeys. So I feel very, very blessed. Also, the beautiful thing about this podcast is I get to interview and talk to some amazing, beautiful guests. And I'm excited to have Lisa on the show with me today. Lisa, I'd love for you to introduce yourself.
Well, hello. Thank you for having me, first and foremost. I feel really very honored to be on your show. Although, before we hit record, I kept hearing sacred container of hope and essence.
Love it.
So I'm grateful for being welcomed into this container. So thank you. My name is Lisa Roche. I am the founder of Nagare Life and the host of Find Your Flow. It's a podcast where just recently I was called to, wow, Nimesh, I want to cry. I was called to share healing with whoever listens, to work with masses of people as opposed to one-on-one. So the podcast offers inspiring conversations, and I'll be hosting you, so guests
I
like
look forward
you.
to it.
Mainly because I really truly believe that we can learn through each other's experience, through the wisdom that comes with experience, and it binds our souls together to share in life's journey together, to learn from and to sympathize with, empathize with. It also offers Reiki infused channel meditations. And those, I've been channeling those for years and years. And that was the essence of the bulk of the podcast when I first got started, because it was share these words. These are the words that people who are awakening can use as a sort of balm. So you receive Reiki in every syllable. It's just the frequency of healing comes through. And then there's educational purposes. I really truly believe that people on their own healing journeys should have the opportunity to garner as much information as possible and then see what resonates with them and choose to include that in their own healing expression. So I call it like a buffet of holistic modalities. Come, learn, take what appeals to you, leave what doesn't, and then see what works. And then if you want a second round, come on in.
That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. Buffet opened everybody. I love it. I love it.
That's right.
And thank you for talking about sacred container at the beginning, because just to give everybody a bit of insight, before I record any episode, either with a guest or with Stacey, I will always do a grounding. I always like to create that sacred container, that safe space, to call in our guides, to channel to the highest level, to share whatever knowledge we have. I never claim it to be mine. Whatever knowledge I share comes from somewhere. I love your intention. It's everything is a co-creation, right? There's no take what you want. I mean, from this episode, take what resonates. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And everything is always a co-creation, right? There's if you're going through something, by listening to this episode, by allowing us to guide you, we're getting something from it too, right? So there's, so I love the intention, I love the energy of it, and it's interesting you talk about group work because I love this podcast. I love the people it reaches, and it's just it's interesting the balance I have between group work and individual work, and I feel like so many people are being awakened, and yeah, it's just an interesting balance. I'd love, for me, the energy right now, and just again for full disclosure, I'm sure it'll be a month or so. Yeah, maybe I'll try and target 8-8, but today's 7-7, so it's 7-7 portal. I feel like there's a powerful shift. I feel like the energy is shifting, and interestingly enough, I don't feel like it's anything to be scared of, but I do feel like the planet is going through such a major shift, and the next year or so is going to be chaos on the planet, and we have a choice of whether to focus on the inside or focus and let the noise consume us. And there's no right or wrong. Whichever you decide to do is you decide to do. But I do feel Gaia shifting. I feel like, and I feel like we chose to be here. So I'd love to get your take on what you're feeling in the energy. What are you feeling with this shift? Anything you want to share that's in your heart?
First of all, yes.
I love it. Simple answer.
to
What he said.
to everything you just said, I think I can sum it up with yes. What do I feel? I feel the earth rumbling. Um, I feel that expression of fear breaking free. And I think we see that in every aspect of life right now. I think you could go out on the street and listen to how many cars you hear honking and use that as sort of your gauge for how much fear is breaking through. And fear is expressed in anger and frustration, disappointment, anxiety, depression, all of these negative concepts and emotions. But at the end of the day, it's just fear. It's just fear. And fear is unknowing. That's it,
Yeah.
right? It's very simple. It's very small, actually. I knew that sitting down and talking with you would be emotional. I knew it. I did not wear any eye makeup because of that.
I love that anticipation. I love I love it. I love it.
That's that. I think that that's the strongest feeling that I have from the planet right now. And as the planet breaks open, that vibration moves through each of us, right? We're all walking on the ground at some point. So that fear vibration needs to move through us. Now, if you have a higher vibration, you get to transmute that into compassion, into empathy. And people like yourself are meant to be that channel to have it move through. And humbly, I include myself in that group.
So you should.
That's my calling. It's why we're here, right? It's why we're showing up and doing what we're
100%.
doing and sharing. And I think that the people who are sort of stuck, not trapped, please know that you're not trapped. When you're stuck in that cycle of fear, it's really freaking hard to get out of it. It is. It takes a lot of self-compassion, self-worth, self-importance, self-empowerment, courage, bravery, humility, grace. It takes all of that to be able to break the cycle of fear. It's a big job. And I think that it's our number one priority. And by our, I mean those who just have a little bit more experience. I hate seeing as an hierarchy. I'm just saying
Yeah.
on the spiral of life, we've circled around a couple of more times. So we're able to say, I set this buffet for you. I understand. Right? Drop your coats, drop your bags, take off your shoes, come on in. Join us, see what you like, see what works for you. I
I
think
love
that's
it.
our job.
Yeah, I love it. It's so simple, right? It's that, and actually, I agree on the hierarchy. I don't, I'm not any better or any worse than anybody else.
Correct. Me too.
Everybody's on a journey, and everybody has equal importance. And and the minute you start to kind of have a spiritual ego where you feel like you're on some sort of pedestal, I love how the universe kind of
Knocks you off
enjoys.
of it.
Yeah, enjoys. I feel like guides have fun too. So it's like, just that's why I'll always know that whatever gift, whatever I share, it's not mine. I don't need to claim it. And some of the phrases I use and stuff, I know they haven't come from my own brain. They've come from somewhere else, and that's great. And just
Yeah.
and actually, I never planned an episode, so we didn't talk about what we were going to talk about in this episode. But fear is
I
an
think
interesting
that was the
concept.
extent of your planning, was that there is no planning, which
Well,
I
yeah.
love.
Well, no, we scheduled it. We had a pre-call. There was a bit of planning.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
We had a conversation. It's interesting. I'll always like to not interview, but have a kind of a connect call with every guest, and just to ensure the energies connect. And I'll always know even before I'm going to talk to the guest whether that guest fits or not. But the human in me still likes to have that conversation, right? And but fear. You talked about fear, and it's such an interesting concept because there is a lot of fear around now.
For
And
sure.
where does that fear come from? It comes from the unknown. It's like the planet's going through a shift like we've never been before, and it's scaring the human. It's scaring the humanist. Whereas the soul, the spirit is ready. It's like it's been working lifetimes for this, and it's such the disconnect we have between the human and the spirit right now is just really interesting. And everybody has fear, and this journey for
Mm-hmm.
me isn't about not having fear. What's courage? Courage for me is having fear and doing it anyway. So
Mm.
if you're scared of something, if you're fearful of something, there's nothing wrong with you.
I see that as an invitation, actually.
Yeah.
And listen, throughout my journey, absolutely fear has stopped me from doing certain things. I mean, I can look I'm 53 years old, so over 53 years, I have plenty of examples of when fear stopped me. Um,
Can I just say you don't look 53 years old? Just
well,
want to put
thank
it
you.
out there. Put it out there.
I
The universe has
appreciate
been
that.
kind to you.
That and awesome skincare. But
Sure.
I would say for
You're
like,
allowed to give your guide some credit too. It's all good.
well,
It's
listen, without the guides, I wouldn't know what to be using.
true. It's
Right?
true. I love it.
I am, and I think that that's like a practical lesson is that I allow guidance in absolutely everything. Absolutely everything.
I
Now,
love it.
4 or 5 years ago, I think I was in the cycle of feel the fear and drop a bunch of F bombs, push through and do it anyway, and then go, okay, that wasn't so bad. And having to live through that over and over and over again to go, oh, wait a second, I don't actually need to feel the fear. I can redefine that as exciting. And anticipation doesn't need to have a negative connotation on it. It can just be this wonderment. So excitement and wonderment. So when I feel that, when I feel quote fear, I go, oh, wait a second. No, 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 no. That's excitement. That's wonderment. I remember once very clearly, out of nowhere, and anybody who's ever had anxiety understands when a panic attack comes on, it can come out of absolutely nowhere, zero trigger. It's just a matter of what nerve fired off at that moment. And I distinctly remember probably 5 years ago, out of nowhere, having a panic attack, and everything stopped. Everything went silent, time stopped, the world went still, and all I heard was, this is just an abundance of. And I went, oh, that redefines anxiety, doesn't it?
I love it.
So when that ripple moves through you, when a nerve finally releases and that ripple of energy moves through you, you can say, this is an anxiety attack and it stops me from moving forward to continue that circle. Or this is an abundance of, and I get to choose excitement and wonderment. Let's lean into that with curiosity. So if this is an abundance of energy, where is it leading me? Where is it going? So that takes me to walk outside of your home and you can feel fear.
Yeah.
You can see it, smell it, taste it. I mean, it's literally every sense. See it, witness it. If you look at it and then you go, let me step back just a little bit, see this from a different perspective, it's opportunity,
Love it.
right? You feel
Yeah.
this fear, and really, it's an opportunity. I feel fear. Okay. What am I fearful of? Well, if I am fearful of, I don't know, looking for a new job, if I'm fearful of being fired from my job, this is not me talking, by the way, but if I am fearful of being fired from my job, then isn't that an opportunity for a new job?
Yeah.
And isn't that an opportunity to embrace not spending all of my days in the energy of somebody else's judgment, the fear of losing my job, the anxiety of losing my job? Isn't it easier to lean into the wonderment of, ooh, what could be, what
Yeah.
possibility, right?
Yeah.
That all of a sudden opens up a brand new path to you.
100%. It's I mean, I always recommend two things with fear. Is one is play out the movie. If you're scared of
Yes.
something, play out
Yes.
the
It's
movie.
the
You know what?
worst that could happen.
Yeah, 100%. And just and the second thing is go back to when you felt fearful previously. Well, you got through it. You learned
That's
so
right.
much, and it's not, so
Because you're still here. You're
yeah.
still here. So
And
what's
you
the
are
worst
the
that happened?
yeah, and the person you are now is because of everything you've been through. So
Yeah,
just I I feel it. Hope you don't mind, but I feel inspired to share the card that I picked for you at the beginning.
absolutely.
I feel like it's for the collective. So the card I picked, and I don't always pick cards for before, but I picked Begin Now. Those are watching on YouTube, I'll show you. But it's the picture of, and it's Begin Now, take your first step. And maybe that's a message for the collective. If you're fearful of something, do it anyway.
It's funny. So I have a mailing list, and so anybody who wants to join it, feel free. NagareLife.com. But it's a mailing list that offers feng shui tips and more the bigger picture, intentional living. Intentional living. And the email I was called to create this morning was for 10 seconds of courage.
I love it.
So your card is very validating, right? It's the energy of right now, the energy of this sacred container, the energy for anyone who's listening. 10 seconds of courage. Begin now.
I love it. I love it. And actually, we talked about before we started recording the moment. That's all we have control over, right? This
That's
moment. And
right.
that's 10 seconds. And it's just, you can change your life in seconds, right? It's just,
Oh, absolutely.
and it's in the moment. I love it. I love it. So, Lisa, I'd love to hear more about your journey. Your kind of
Mm.
your spiritual, your healer journey. Kind of, where's it taken you, and what brings you to today?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well,
In
let's
summary,
think.
whatever comes to your
I
heart.
know. I was like, holy cow, where do I even begin? I mean, just like small little timeline dots. I can go over my life and find these moments where I chose to process fear into or through fear and end up making decisions that were in my best interest. And now 25 years ago, I had no idea. 24 years ago, I had no idea that choosing to quit my job and stay home with our daughter, I had no idea that that would be part of my spiritual journey. But here we are. I can look back and say, absolutely, because I chose what was best for me in that moment, right? Then fast forward to, we have our daughter, we have our son, our youngest, he goes off to school full time. And I said to my husband, I could go back to work. I could go back to work. I was really good at it, so why not? And he said, or you could choose to explore something you've always wanted to explore because you have just a few hours every day that you could be figuring out who you are right now and doing something for yourself. What a gift!
How beautiful.
Be-
Yeah.
right? What a gift. We're so programmed to get back into the
Yeah.
doing that we forget about nurturing our becoming, uh,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
So in that, through that phase is when when I decided to take an adult ballet class, just because why not, right?
I love that. I love that. That's cool.
I
That's your inner
and I
child coming out to play. I love it.
my inner child just wanted to spin, just wanted
Yeah.
to do some pirouettes without judgment, without a teacher saying this is why you're doing it, and we're trying to make you do this and competitive.
Wow.
Like I didn't care about any of it. It
I'm
was
your
just a room
soul
of
having a human
beautiful women.
experience. I love it.
Yes,
You just
right?
you embrace the human experience. That's so
It was
powerful.
fabulous. It was fabulous and an amazing period of growth. And during that time, I discovered the gyrotonic method, which is a beautiful movement modality that that helped me feel flow for the very first time. I was a practiced student for several years before going on to becoming a certified instructor. And I had no idea what it felt like to have the fascia from your head to your toes just release and have fluid move through your body. But I got to experience that. And that's where Find Your Flow started. I had founded Nagare, and I, I, I asked, I sat and I remember sitting in meditation going, I really want to tap into my ancestry for this time and creation in my life. I want it to be Japanese. What is a word for water? So I go to Google and I look it up, and Nagare means the flow of water. And I went, that is so beautiful. One word describing exactly what I feel.
Wow.
And I have been a competitive swimmer my whole life, so water had a special meaning in healing for me. Because every time I jumped into water, it was like the world just stopped. Everything went away. Your race is your race. And it was a beautiful, beautiful thing to experience. So the gyrotonic method allowed me to work with other people. And then one morning, I was at breakfast with friends, and I was looking back and forth when I felt a squeeze on the back of my head. And talk about everything changing in a split second. In a nanosecond, I blacked out. And when I came to, I couldn't see, I couldn't hear, I couldn't walk. All
Wow.
I could do was feel with my fingertips and think. Like those two things, that's all I had. I remember being dragged out of the restaurant and feeling the wall and feeling the texture of the wallpaper. And I remember saying to myself, because I felt the seam, and I said, this is bumpy, this is texture, this is wallpaper, this is the feeling of wallpaper. So I was already starting to program my brain
Hmm.
to strengthen the only sense that I really had, the sense of touch. And for 9 months, I stayed in that condition of, well, debilitating, um, and gradually getting worse to the point where I couldn't sit up, I couldn't hold my head up. And my lowest point, I had fallen. I had fallen onto the ground, and I was home by myself. And I just started what I thought was praying to die. There's a trigger warning for listeners. I really thought in my words, and my words were super specific, I said, please, God, take the burden that is me. Take me the burden from my family. Take me the burden from my children. Take me the burden from my mother, from my sisters. Take me the burden. The pain of being a burden is too much for me to bear. And I was sobbing, sobbing, sobbing on the floor when I had somehow transfixed into such a deep level of meditation. And I had been a practice of meditation for years, but this was completely different. And I heard a voice that moved through me. It didn't start in my brain. It didn't start in my ears. It actually started in my chest and expanded to move through me. And it said, you have all the answers you need.
Wow.
It was profound. That voice had a vibration that boomed through me. It had a scent of jasmine that I could smell on the inside of me instead of coming in through my nose. It was something that resonated. And that's the only way that I can explain it. It just resonated throughout me. You have all the answers you need. And I said, okay, that's great. If I have all the answers, help me find them, help me access them, because I don't know how to do that. And that same voice said, sound healing. And I said, okay, I don't know what that means, but I'll look it up. And I felt to my side, and somehow my iPad was there. Have no idea how it turned up there, right? Of course. So I type in sound healing, and the very first thing that comes up is Ramadasa, a chant for the nervous system, a chant for healing. And I must have listened to that on repeat for hours.
Wow.
And when I was done with that, I was like, holy cow, I actually feel a little bit better. I could see, but things were fuzzy. Okay, I can hear, even though everything sounded like they were in a tunnel far away. I
Yeah.
could hear, I could see somewhat. So I said, okay, that's amazing. So I dipped my toe in a little farther, right? And really challenge this. Okay, what's next? What's next? Sound healing. What's next? Go to Facebook. And that made no sense to me. Why would I go to
Yeah.
Facebook? Right. Which makes me giggle because I don't know how many minutes had gone by, but I had been begging, right? Right. You make all
Yeah.
of these
Time. We talked
bargains.
about time. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
It all disappears.
Yeah.
So I'm told to go to Facebook. Doesn't make any sense to me, but I open up Facebook, and I distinctly remember this because in Facebook, the algorithm works that if you're not a member of a group, you don't get their notifications. And yet, the very first post was from a woman to a group I was not a member of, and I didn't know who this person was, but there it was. And the message said, it's the Easter season. I want to help someone. If you need help, message me. And I started
Wow.
shaking, because I said, wait a second, you want me to ask for help? I've been like this for months, and you want me to actually now like invite people into this experience with me? And I mean, and at that point I had been to every doctor under the sun and basically given up hope, right? But you want me to ask for help. Oh, that was so humbling. Like when you think you can't break more,
Yeah.
you you break
Takes you
wide
to another
open.
level. Yeah.
Whole other level, that vulnerability. But I heard that voice booming through me, ask for help, ask for help. So what do I do? Okay. I mean, I ask for help. And she says, I can be there on Monday. I'll come help you walk, because that's what I said. I'm trying to learn how to walk, but I can't do it independently. I need someone to be with me. Okay, so I'll be there. I'll be there on Monday to help you
Wow.
walk. So she showed up. She helped me walk. And in that like half an hour, she starts asking me, what happened to you? And I said, well, I have an atlas injury. That's that first vertebrae. It comes out of alignment, and there's not much more I can do about it. I see a chiropractor. This is pretty much as good as it's going to get. The doctors have all told me, and PT, this is my PT. And she said, you can't make this up. She said, I know exactly what you're talking about. I had an atlas injury, not to
Wow.
this extent, but I had it. And there's a specialist just 2 towns away. And I said, like, how do you even know? How do you even know? Because no one except for this one chiropractor has been able to understand or even define the atlas to me. And she said, don't worry about it. I'll come in. I'll write everything down for you. You call, you make an appointment. But he's got like at least a 2-month wait list. And I said, okay. So we come inside. She writes it all down for me. My brother-in-law had been in the kitchen. He was making dinner for the kids. My husband was traveling. And I've got this piece of paper in my hand. And I said to my brother-in-law, I don't know if I should call. I don't know if I have the strength to have that much hope. I don't know if I have it in me to be told one more time that this is as good as it gets.
Yeah.
I've kind of accepted it. So how about I just stay in this spot of 60% better, right? And he stopped everything and walked in, and he said to me, Lisa, when God sends you an angel, you say no? Like, who are you? Who are you? And I went, okay. And I'm not a religious person, but I am super spiritual. I am super faithful. And I said, oh, right. So that voice isn't speaking through me. That voice now is speaking through others. And he said, exactly. So I call. It's a Monday evening. I remember it, 7 p.m. on a Monday night. And someone answered the phone. The office manager just so happened to be in the office. She was locking up when the phone rang. She had taken that call. She hung up. She was continuing to lock up. When the phone rang again, it was me. And I said, oh, I was surprised. I was just thinking that I would leave a message. And she said, well, I'm here. So how can I help you? And I said, well, I'd like to make an appointment. And she said, oh, all right. I actually just hung up with someone who canceled for Wednesday. Can you be here?
Wow.
And I said, yes, because at that point, it started to get a little easier, right? When
You were
these
just trusting.
divine miracles happen,
Yeah.
it gets easier to say yes. Just like when people give you gifts for absolutely no reason, you have to find that comfort level in saying thank you and receiving that gift. It's the exact same experience. So Wednesday, I went to this doctor who took x-rays that no one had ever taken before. He took x-rays through my jaw. He could see exactly what was going on. My vertebrae, the very first vertebrae, had shifted to the right and then twisted towards the front.
Yeah.
It collapsed my brainstem, my carotid artery, and my vagus nerve.
Wow.
So of course I lost all my senses. Of
Yeah.
course I had
Cool.
no sense of balance. Of course I couldn't walk. Of course. He adjusted me. You won't believe it. He had a special machine that used a sound wave to adjust my bone.
Isn't that crazy?
Isn't that amazing?
That's
You
just,
can't
yeah.
make this up. You can't. So people can tell me anything and I will receive it. I will accept it because I've already been there, done that on that level of you can't make this up. The
Wow.
only explanation is that it is beyond me. It's bigger than me. There is some sort of connected divine presence that moves through us and allows us to experience our best selves
Wow.
if we allow it. If we say yes, please, and thank you.
Wow. I mean, that story gave me goosebumps. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, how many sessions, how long did you take to kind of, for you to get more
One,
movement? One session.
one,
Wow.
just one. He used all of those x-rays to get the precise angles for how to set this machine up. And it was just like playing a game of pool, where you use your cue stick to hit a ball, which hits a ball into a pocket. It's
Yeah.
the same technology. It was a rod up against the back of the temporal bone that traveled at just the right angle to ease the bone back into
Wow.
position. And all I needed was a neck brace for a few weeks
Just to,
so that
yeah.
the muscles wouldn't
Yeah.
panic and take me back out of alignment, which is what had been happening. And then once again, I'm wandering around with a neck brace and 9 months of atrophy, you have to do certain PT to get your strength back. And I woke up one day and I heard you have all the answers you need. I heard it again, except it started in my stomach. And I was like, oh, that's a different location, even from my heart, right? From your stomach. You have all the answers you need. Okay. Okay. So help me access those because I've never gotten answers from my stomach before. So help me there. And then it hits me the gyrotonic method. Beautiful. Yes, that approaches the body in a different manner. My body it resonates with that movement modality. It understands how to receive and then decipher movement to reprogram muscles. So I started mapping out an entire protocol on how to heal the human body after having an atlas injury. And what started out as 2 minutes a day before I would then wind up taking like a 3-hour nap turned into within 3 to 5 months, I reopened my studio and I started seeing clients again. And I would say 70% easily were all Atlas injuries who needed this protocol. Every
Wow.
single one of them. So, like from the word go, it was keep working this protocol, work this protocol, because people are wandering around with Atlas injuries that don't even understand that they have it. And all of the symptoms are what they would think are normal: migraines, moods, anxiety, depression. All of these things can come back to your vagus nerve, and your vagus nerve gets compressed when you have your atlas out of alignment. And the atlas can get out of alignment simply by falling down when you were little.
Wow.
You could be born with it. Going through the birth canal can misalign the atlas. It's incredible.
Such a powerful story. Wow. That's just, not just the healing, but all the messages and how they came through and how
Yeah.
you trusted the nudges. And, you know, I mean, if you want to honor the lady that helped you and the doctor that helped you, if you want to name them, please
Oh my
do.
gosh. Well, honestly, um, I will hold sacred the woman
Okay.
who helped me. She is now a dear friend, and so I will hold her name sacred in my heart. The doctor, he is in New Jersey in the United States, and his name is Dr. Colavito, Angelo Colavito, and the modality is Atlas orthogonal medicine. So it's a specialized chiropractor who only works with the Atlas. And back then, I, the next closest one was like 4 hours away. You couldn't
Wow.
find them anywhere. But now they're much more common.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, of course, there turned out to be a school in New Jersey, a chiropractic school that really started to teach it and certify doctors all over the US to be able to work with people like this.
Yeah, you gotta love the universe, and just when you're at your lowest point and you've given up, and it's just you follow and trust the nudges, and just miracles can happen. Just that sequence of events, just the lady helping, and your brother and your guides talking to your brother-in-law, and
Oh,
just
right? All
the
of it.
appointment being available, and just like starting a sequence of events, and just and it changed your life, right? It led you
Absolutely.
to create something, and it just that's that's the beauty of this life. That's the beauty of us choosing to be here at this time as souls. Things are shifting, our whole perspective, and that, yeah, when you let go and you trust, and look, there is going to be humans in you. There is going to be the part of you that says, why should I bother? And that's when somebody else comes along and says, like your brother-in-law, and says, what are you talking about? Just and it just thank you for sharing that story. It's so powerful. And even you talked about your husband, and your husband saying, well, why do you want to go back to work? All of that is our guides
Yeah.
talking through. And that
Yes.
for me is what soul contract looks like, right? It's that you had a soul contract with your friend to come and see you and change your world, and to make a phone call and see that doctor. And that's, yeah, that's the beauty of this life. And if somebody's listening and they feel like they have no hope,
Oh,
take listen to this story. What would your advice be if somebody's listened to this? And I know there's a lot of people listening, and I always get the energy of, yeah, he's not talking to me, he's talking to somebody else. But if there's somebody's listening who really feels like their back's against the wall, they have no hope, what would you advise for them to do?
so first things first, I'm going to tell you that the audacity of hope is going to be one of the hardest things you're ever going to have to lean into, because you're risking um, rejection and pain and vulnerability, humility. They're words, they're concepts that not a whole lot of us really have to experience in life,
Yeah,
because we are masterminds at avoiding it,
yeah, for sure.
geniuses at avoiding it. But I'm going to tell you that when, you know when you can, and I don't like to say should, but are invited, strongly encouraged to lean into what's on the other side of hope. So hope is like this door that's cracked open, and it's going to take every ounce of strength you have to just open it. And that could be with talking to someone. It could be with listening to your intuition, listening to your inner guidance, saying a prayer and following through. So that's how you walk through the door, by following through with whatever guidance comes to you. You you literally walk through this threshold of hope onto an existence that changes everything. It absolutely changes everything, because on that other side, which I always call you're on the other side of healing. When you walk through that threshold, you're on the other side of healing. And everything you experience, all of a sudden, it becomes like flipped around and upside down. So, yes, on the one hand, I get it. You're standing there in
Yeah,
front of this cracked open door and you're afraid because you have no idea what's on the other
yeah,
side. And I'm telling you, it's a 180 from what you think you live. But I'm
Yeah.
also going to tell you that that flipped upside down and turned around perspective, it is so much better. It has so much glory and beauty and love and ethereal existence. It has so much real substance to it, even though it's completely invisible and um, speaks a different language from you. It speaks in the language of energy, which is vibration and frequency and emotion. But there is such peace and there's such ease because the human body was programmed to understand and respond and function at that level. This is what it really means to be a soul having a human experience. Your
I love it.
cells have literally been programmed to exist on the soul level.
Yeah.
We just have to remember it. That's it. That's it.
Yeah. And you chose to be it. You chose. You chose.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
So that's
really.
another important lesson, right? So if you're
Yeah.
standing there facing your own door and you're afraid, there's something that you really could turn into a personal mantra in your brain, in your head, which is I chose this
Yeah.
experience. So if I'm here right now, alive, kicking right here, you chose to be here, you chose
Yeah.
to awaken, you chose to prioritize your soul, you chose to help lead the way for others, you chose this.
Yeah. And it's hard. And I get it. And I have this conversation with people all the time. It's if you're going through something challenging and someone like us come on a podcast and say you chose it, and they're like, wait, why would I choose this? I would kind of say to you that one, your soul has to release and expand and release karma and all that sort of stuff. But also, I truly believe the universe will never give you anything you can't handle.
True.
So you
True.
you chose this basically because you can handle it.
As
And
obscene as that sounds,
I know
and I'm right there with you.
it's,
There were many times, I'm sitting
yeah,
there literally like a lump of potatoes being propped up with pillows going, I chose this.
wow, yeah,
Mother effer. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
so
yeah.
many.
And I know I trigger people because when I say that, everything in the external is a result of something internal, like, wait, what?
Right.
Whatever happens to you is serving you. And it's like, no, you can't. And we've all been through, I mean, your story is insane. They're just the steps, but we've all been through a lot. And
Absolutely.
I'm sure there's people listening. So I've tried, and I've been through so many doors. And you guys asking me to go through one more. And I always say, look, we have to meet the universe halfway. The universe wants to help us. Our guides want to help us. But sometimes we've got to take the first step. And isn't it crazy
We
the card I
always
picked?
that's 100% we have to take the
I
first
mean,
step.
that's the card I picked.
A-
And it's just like, universe, our guides have jokes. I swear, it has jokes. And just take the first step. If you listen to this episode and you just feel like you have no more hope, please take the first step.
Yeah.
Whatever that
It's
may be, trust your
literally
intuition.
10 seconds of courage.
Yeah.
5 seconds of courage. It just the 2 seconds it takes to take a deep breath. It's like literally jumping into a pool. Just do it.
Just do
Just
it.
do it.
I'm sure
And
there's
then there are people like you, me, and so many else out there who are like, I'm ready and waiting to
yeah.
catch you. I'm ready and waiting.
And
This
asking
is
for help.
why
Yeah.
exactly.
Asking
Exactly.
for help. It goes against our programming. I get it. We've got centuries, but that for me is like a beautiful sign of move from divine masculine to divine feminine. Feminine is all about the heart,
Yeah. Yeah.
allowing people to hold your space, allowing people in the human realm, but also on the non-human realm to kind of hold your space. It has to be a team effort. It has to be a co-creation.
Absolutely. And I
Wow.
say both sides because we have this honor of being both at once. Like, hello,
Yeah. I
right?
mean, and you're a perfect example of what it could feel like on the other side, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we haven't even, listen, I've had 2 near-death experiences, so yeah.
Yeah, we could probably do a series. I'm sure. I'm sure.
We could.
It's like um,
I mean, and I should say that trusting that voice that spoke to me while I was on the floor, it was a little bit easier in that I had heard it before. I just needed to remember, that's all.
so what would your advice be if somebody's looking for that connection? Somebody's looking for that connection with whatever you want to say is on the other side, your guides, source, God, this the different. What would your advice to them be?
So I would say, first things first is to just get comfortable with some quiet, quite literally. It costs you nothing, literally costs you nothing
True.
to turn everything off. Turn off your lights, turn off sounds, turn off everything, just turn off everything. If you can flip the switch in your home, when you're without power and everything just goes really, really quiet, it's like you're in a cone of silence. That's what we're looking for. And I'm not saying that you have to do that for hours upon end, right? So a lot of people who guide meditation or say to, go within, find the silence within, and stay there for as long as you possibly can. I'm not going to say that at all. I'm going to say introduce it to yourself.
Yeah.
You are a human being who has been overstimulated since the womb. I mean, silence is uncomfortable. It's
Yeah.
going to,
It's
it really
unnatural.
will. It,
Mm.
it feels unnatural. It really does, because you've been overstimulated since the womb. So
Yeah.
you're not necessarily looking for the quiet of the womb state. You need to go beyond the quiet of the soul state.
Yeah.
That's ascent. That is sitting in silence and searching for the scent of, the smell of silence. And I know that I sound like some sort of Looney Tune, but when you can sit in quiet for 10 seconds and go, what do I smell? That starts making these neural connections first in your brain, then they move throughout your entire system. And you're talking about a nervous system that starts reprogramming and working in a different way. And it really, truly does just start there.
Yeah.
So if you're sitting here and you're spinning out and you're even afraid to hope, take a deep breath, close your eyes, search for silence, shoot for, my God, if you can handle it to the count of 2, that's fantastic. The next time you're going to do that until the count of 3. These are baby, baby, baby steps. And I promise you, you'll go from 2 seconds to, a half an hour in no time.
And it's powerful because it is a muscle, right? You can't.
For sure.
So many people, I sit in silence, and if a thought comes in, let it come, let it go. Don't get
Yeah.
angry,
Who
don't get
cares?
annoyed. Exactly. But do it consistently for a little while.
Yes.
And it's not. Ironically, it's actually not about becoming quiet. It's about quieting the mind so you can listen to your heart and soul. And it's that. But it's a muscle. You can't go to the gym and get a six pack on your first visit, right?
Right.
So it's the same.
Right.
So powerful, powerful stuff. So I could talk to you for hours, and it's a powerful
Likewise.
conversation. But I'm curious, what does life look like now for you?
So life for me, I was called, about 3 years ago to close my studio, to stop working with people. And that was, again, really, really hard to do. It was super successful studio, beautiful clients, and a wonderful income. But I woke up one day and I heard that voice that said it was time to close the studio. And through a lot of, inner dialogue, I went, okay, so I
I'm
choose to
sure.
trust. I choose to
Eventually,
trust.
after some internal arguments.
Absolutely. Well, you don't just like lock the doors on a six-figure
Yeah,
income. You know what I mean? Like, who does that? That's lunacy.
yeah,
S- But I had to. It's something for me that I had already had the frying pan to the face moment after years of not listening. So it's easier for me,
Yeah, it's
as
true.
hard as it is to close the doors on something beautiful. It's a hell of a lot easier than being taken down again. So
Yeah,
I I choose the lesser.
yeah. That's true. That's true. You have been warned. It's not like it's
I had been warned. So,
yeah,
I listen. But I did about 3 years ago. I closed the doors to my studio and had been on this journey of redefining, rediscovering. Who am I in this phase of my life? How do I show up in service of others? And I'll be honest with you, for like 2.5 years, I was told, be in service of yourself.
yeah.
Be in service of yourself.
I love it.
So that exploration of, okay, what resonates with me now, right? There's this buffet of beauty. What resonates with me now? And then 3 months ago, I was told, start a podcast, share meditations. There's a mass awakening happening, which brings us
For
back
sure.
to that. What are we experiencing in the
Yeah,
planet right now? Well, as things shake out of the planet, that awakens so many people, right? So I'm asking you, go out into the streets and see how much fear you can experience. That's part of your awakening. When you can notice fear for what it is and how it manifests in the world, welcome to your awakening. So as we're having this mass awakening, how can people be supported? How can we very quickly raise the vibration, which means heal that pain and introduce peace and ease and joy and hope, right? How do we get people into these higher vibrations? And that's through through the meditations, and then the inspiring conversations help to normalize all of this. Like this conversation that we're having, this is stuff that people wouldn't even talk about
yeah.
four
Very
years
true.
ago, six
Mm,
years ago. Nobody's having these conversations. And if they are, it's hidden in their homes with their best friends who they can trust, who won't breathe a word of it so nobody else thinks I'm crazy. This is being normalized now because this right here is a conversation of the soul to soul. And that's what's happening in this awakening. So for me, I look out into the world and I see so much anger, so much pain, so much discourse. And I think, okay, I could stay here in that vibration, or I can hold hope. I can be the one to hold that door open and say, let's go, let's rise, let's expand. Because when I see all of that, I see opportunity. I see it for
yeah,
what it is. So
I
if
love it.
someone is feeling fear and afraid to hope, it's literally a choice I choose to lean into possibility, to lean into. And I'll tell you this, for the people that say, I've been there, I've done that, I've tried a million different things. First, kudos. Congratulations.
Yeah,
My God, for you to try so many different things. And I will follow that up with the human experience learns through pain. The human experience.
yeah,
The only way that we know we can heal is if we cut ourselves and we see the wound heal.
yeah.
So the human, and I'm talking about your brain, the brain starts to understand the world around it by experiencing the negative,
Yeah.
and it infers the positive. It's how you can say, look at a stove and say 400 degrees is hot, so I won't touch it. It's
Yeah.
how you can wander down the street and go, oh, I don't want to walk into that place. That doesn't feel so good to me. But we're less attuned to that feels really good. I'm going to go in that direction.
Yeah. It's always the opposite.
It's
And that's why
right.
I like the phrase pain is inevitable, suffering is optional, because we
Correct.
do expand through pain.
We do. It's a
But
learning
some,
experience.
yeah,
So if you just categorize it as that,
yeah,
you say, oh, I just learned that those 50 things I tried in the past don't actually resonate with my body. It's the exact same thing of going to a buffet and saying I tried 50 different things to eat and I didn't like them. Well, guess what? That 51st over there is probably going to be tasty to you.
Yeah, that's the one that's going to hit the button. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Such a powerful story. Thank you for being in the space. Yeah, how can people reach out? How
for
can they
sure.
connect?
So, yeah, if
I'll
you
include your
if you
contact information in the podcast and the show notes, but I'd love for you to
please,
elaborate.
yeah, you can always join the mailing list at nagarelife.com, and that'll take you right to my link tree, which has everything there. You can join the mailing list. You can listen to go straight to the podcast. You can sign up to be a guest on the podcast. Um, that's how I am called right now to work with people.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. You're a powerful light. Thank you for sharing your light with
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you for sharing your beautiful voice, your energy. Definitely felt very much like a channel conversation. And,
For sure.
kind of, if anyone is listening, and again, the story you tell yourself that this wasn't for you, then actually, this actually was for you. If you're telling yourself that story, then please take that additional step. Take that time in silence. Take that time to be with you. You're a powerful soul. You're a powerful being. You're meant to be here. So I'm sending everyone so much love and light. Thank you for being in this space. And Lisa, I'm going to hand over to you to close us out.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that because I'm very much called to just share a whole lot of Reiki right through.
Let's do it.
Please receive this Reiki energy to help you find your voice, find your significance, and allow for your being to transcribe the words that have been written on your soul to be shared. For your voice is powerful. For your voice is love. Thank you for sharing your healing energy with us today. Please take a deep breath. Look around your space. See it with new eyes, new perspective. Clear your path. Thank you from my soul to yours. Thank you from my heart to yours. May you receive. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Wow. Such a powerful way to end this episode. I'm sure you'll be back, and I know I'm scheduled on your show, so I look forward to that. But yeah, sending you so much love and light. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to you. I'm sending everyone so much love and light. I truly hope you felt the healing energy and the vibration of that activation. Super, super powerful. Thank you.